So the first thing I would like to say to all of you is again, I know you guys don't know me very well yet, but my name is Aaron Richmond, host of the Aaron's Opinion podcast. I want to take the time to say thank you to all of you from different time zones all over Europe for joining me, sitting down, whether you're having a beer, fixing a scooter. Thanks so much for joining me. And I just want to say that, I found out about, Blind Guys Chat from one of my other friends in the podcasting community who actually played your promo on his podcast. And all I can say is I've just been really enjoying all of your episodes. I always enjoy hearing you guys.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
this
so much.
question, is to really Oren or really any of you, and I'm going to go around the room, but I would like you to tell me. So the history of Blind Guys Chat. I can already tell we're all blind guys, and you guys love to chat. But what's the history of Blind Guys Chat? How about let's start with Oren. How about that? Let's go from there.
Okay, sure.
He's
Why
also
not?
our spokesman, He's our
Yeah,
official
he's the
spokesman.
producer. Yeah.
The resident
Yeah, he's
spokesman,
our,
yeah.
he's our godfather.
Yeah. I'm not that old.
Sorry. No, you're young, Look at Stuart. My God.
How did Blind Guys Chat come about? Well, we in 2020, Stuart works for the company Stuart is working for, wanted to do a webinar on the use of Microsoft Teams in terms of its accessibility. So Stuart contacted myself and Jan and asked us if we would be willing to take part in that webinar. And we did. We spent many months prepping it and working out the accessibility issues and what worked and what didn't work in Microsoft Teams. And we eventually went live with that webinar in July of 2020. And we got on really well together. I knew Stuart for years, but I didn't know Jan. But we hit it off really
Thank
well
goodness.
during the months of preps. Yeah. We let it sit for a while, and then Stuart kind of came up with the idea of why don't we try and do a podcast together, because we all got on really well. And it'd be a fun thing to do. And we didn't really want anything with a huge agenda. We just like to chat or natter, as we'd say here in Ireland. And yeah, that's how Blind Guys Chat really got started. We took us a good while to come up with a name, but once we came up with a name and we decided what we did and did not want to do on the podcast, it kind of just evolved. Last September, I think it was the 17th, was our first podcast of 2020, and we've done 23 episodes so far.
And they're all great. All right, Jan, let's go over to you in the Netherlands. I believe Netherlands is a great place. I've been to Amsterdam, but how did you get
Okay.
involved in Blind Guys Chat? Go ahead.
Well, as the story was Oren, like Oren told you, Stuart initiated, and he asked Oren, and then they asked me, and then I said, well, I have no experience at all, and but yeah, it would be nice, and yeah, as Oren said, we can get along quite well, but it's all during COVID, and we didn't actually meet each other yet. But I met Stuart a couple of times in person due to business work from both companies. And yeah, so I thought, well, it can be fun, why not? So yeah, so we are getting along quite well. And then we are happy to do it. And then we'll see.
Excellent. And my story in just a couple sentences. My name is Aaron, of course. I'm from the universe. I was born blind. And I got into podcasting and created Aaron's Opinion because I wanted to create a podcast that was open to the whole world, where blind people can come and have a conversation with me from anywhere in the world. And I felt that there was a bit of a gap, a bit of a chasm in the community, with podcasts not always being as open as I wanted them to be. So I have a lot of opinions. I love educating people. So I thought, well, why don't I just push record? And as you said, or in the podcast kind of just evolves. It kind of just pops up basically over a period of time. Um, so okay, so that is excellent. Um, as far as some of the topics that you guys like
But
to cover.
Aaron,
Go ahead. Yes,
sorry to
go ahead.
interrupt, but
Please do. Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
asked Oren and me, but the main initiator is Mr. Stewart, of course. You need to
Yeah.
ask him as well. Yeah. No, he is our.
Stuart's the man.
He is,
Oh, I'm not.
yeah.
I'm
We
not
have
actually
always
initiated.
conversation with HR,
Yeah.
but come on,
Yeah.
he is the guy.
He is
I
the
see.
man.
Okay,
Yeah.
so okay,
Yeah,
I
and
see.
I'm not
So
going
Stuart
to
is
go to HR.
okay. So Stuart,
Yeah,
Stuart
no,
is
no, no.
truly Stuart is truly
He is
the
our
actual initiate.
Yeah.
Okay, so you truly initiated the entire thing. Okay, well, yes, that is true. Okay, so yes, tell us. I mean, we kind of already had some of it, but tell us more about how you got involved, Stuart. Go ahead. So sorry for that.
Well, I mean, I suppose I had met these guys in person. I thought Oren and Jan, they're great guys. I give them
He
a lot
doesn't
of
think
money,
that
so
now anymore, though.
I don't think that
No.
anymore. No. But no, I suppose when we did the session last year, the webinar that has already been mentioned, we kind of thought, as Oren said, we all got on well. I think one of the things I had in my mind about the podcast was that it should be us chatting as a group of friends, and people who are listening should almost feel as though they're chatting along with us. And I think that's was in my head. So yeah, I think it's been a really interesting almost year at this stage of doing it.
Yeah, we're going to have our anniversary party soon.
Campaign and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
The dogs are going to drink the champagne. We don't know what we're going to drink.
No, we will stay with kidneys, etc. Heart. and
Yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
Livers.
What is the name? Yeah, liver. Ah, my God. Grilled, isn't it? It's the best.
Yeah, and kid pasta ones. Yeah, there was loads of ones like that.
Excellent. Very good. So, as far as some various topics that you guys like to cover on your podcast, you guys have it all. You guys cover everything. But who's in charge of deciding what topics are covered? If you have a group of people, it's a little harder sometimes to decide what you're going to talk about on any given episode. So, how do you guys work through that?
We all bring
I think
our ideas.
Yeah, and Larry and Chef, of course.
Larry and Chef, they're our producers. Yeah.
Everything goes by Larry and Chef.
Yeah,
and the HR director.
If they don't approve, then it's over. Then they start barking all over.
I think we all do a bit of everything. There's people come along with their ideas. Someone might say, I want to talk, I've seen something on the internet or I've read an article, I wouldn't mind talking about it. We've tended to do a bit of a, what's on the TV, whether it be streaming services or terrestrial TV in our countries or whatever, or there might be a bit of technology that one of us has read up about and we want to share. Or sometimes we do little tutorials on something that we're using. It really, we all feed into it, I think.
Yeah, and we do have a running order of sorts that we kind of start with, but we don't necessarily stick to that. Jan and I have had plenty of occasion where we've just started talking about our guide dogs and bypass several items on the running order. But it's good crack, it's good fun, and we're not tied down to, we don't tie ourselves down to the running order per se. We just start recording and let it go. We know a general idea of where we're going. We know we've usually got one interview, at least one interview per show. And then we have an email item, which Clodagh does. So once we hit once we get we hit the interview and the email, then anything is kind of up for grabs what we can talk about.
What's coming into mind, what is relevant at the moment, for example, Olympics or COVID or politics or whatever, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Just issues, I suppose.
Yeah, taggy, issues or gossips, that's also nice.
Like our infamous one now is, well, not infamous, but our favorite one now is talking about the weather. We like to talk about the weather. We like to talk about to every interviewee, what's the weather like?
Yeah. And also, looking forward to an interview with Santa Claus again. That's also good.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, he'll be here. Yeah. I've been in touch with the North Pole already, so they're on the case.
Excellent.
Very good, very good. Well, to as far as the guide dogs go, I completely support that. I also had a guide dog in my life from Guiding Eyes for the Blind, so I think that's wonderful. I completely support guide dogs, by the way.
What did you have?
Black Lab.
Oh,
Mhm.
lovely.
Yeah.
What was the black dog's name?
Nani. Yeah, a girl black lab
No.
named Nani. Yeah.
Oh,
Nani, nice name.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Good.
a rapper or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or other people, it sort of does. Kind of, it's an interesting name. The computers name them in a very chronological, mathematical sense, actually. But someone
Okay.
said it's actually grandmother in Italian, which it is too. So I've gotten that a lot of times too. Oh, is your dog Italian? Because it's grandmother in Italian. So I've had that too. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh,
And what about you?
Okay.
What are your dogs' names?
Well,
Well,
my dog's
we-
name is Larry.
and mine is Chef. You know.
And my
my
dog's
dog
name
is an American.
is Kane. My dog's name
Kane,
is
right.
Kane.
White Cane. White Cane.
White
White Kane.
Yeah. Surname Kane. And he's
My
always
dog's name
stubborn.
is
you
Michael.
know?
Michael Kane.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, or Hurricane. That's an even more,
Hurricane. I
nice
like
guy.
it.
Yeah,
I
he
prefer
yeah,
Hurricane.
he's
Yeah,
also,
you know,
he's
yeah,
a football player. Eh?
well,
Hurricane.
Stuart, you know, you could call your cane a hurricane and then not have to get into a big deal that it's not actually a guide dog. You could just say I have a hurricane and call it.
I
a
could,
hurricane.
couldn't I?
Good, yeah.
You know, because
Indeed.
you know it is kind of tough when you don't have a guide dog. I do understand that. So you can just pretend that you have a guide dog who happens to be a white cane, but you'll just perceive it as a hurricane. How about that?
Well,
I think I'll say that from now on.
Don't-
Aaron. Yeah.
Well, Jan and I are getting.
Don't give
Stuart,
him too many ideas, my God.
Jan and I are going to get.
Oh, I have a
Stuart
lot.
guide
I
dog
have
for
a lot
Christmas.
of ideas. I have.
Mm.
Oh, I have a lot of. I have a lot of ideas. And,
Sorry.
oh, no problem. No problem. Yes. Yes. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's great. And of course, I would have to ask, as a former guide dog user myself, what, you know, overall to Oren and Jan, what really made you get guide dogs, and how did you go about doing that? There in Ireland, or the Netherlands? Did you just come here to the States to get your dogs? How did that work?
Well,
Well,
they
for
are
me-
locally trained, you know, in Ireland and in Holland.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
don't
very
need to go to the US. Yeah. No.
Although
Oh.
my dog is American because his mummy
Oh,
was
really?
American.
You have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
has,
yeah.
has he,
Yeah.
an,
But
has he
is
an
he
American
trained-
bark? I've never heard his
Yeah, he
twang.
does.
Really.
Yeah, it's a bit of a twang. Yeah, a bit of an American twang. Yeah.
Ah.
See.
No, his mum was flown over from America to deliver
Okay.
pups, and yeah, but no, they're both the local. So Jan got his in the Netherlands, and I got mine in Ireland. There was there was about a 3-year wait between when I applied first of all for my dog and when I actually got down to training in County Cork, which is in the south of Ireland. And we spent 3 weeks there, Larry and I, training, and then back home.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
it was a long time, but worth it,
Sure.
well worth it.
Oh, absolutely, it's worth it. And was that a residential setting? In other words?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so pleased to hear that there's these guide dog programs now in Ireland and Netherlands. That's so good. I think it's really important, you know. But that's really great. Yeah. And what are some? I mean, usually I would ask this towards the end of any episode, but since we have such a dynamic group, do each of you have questions for me? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for me. What are the questions that maybe each of you were wondering about, you know, me, my podcast, my life? I'm pleased to tell you.
Well, I suppose I was wondering, and maybe
Sure.
just if you could maybe tell us, like, very briefly,
Mhm.
how.
Yeah, it's almost time, you guys.
Yeah,
I
'cause
have to
actually, yeah,
follow
I
up.
know we're all
Yeah.
under a little bit of
I
time
know.
pressure, but how did your? I suppose what is your? Because I listened to a couple of episodes, and they were very interesting, by the way.
Thank
What's the general thrust around what you do? Because obviously there's the Aaron's opinion, but what are you trying to get from it, I suppose?
Well, what I'm trying to get from my podcast is I'm trying to provide a platform where blind people from all over the world can come in.
Dan moet hij... ja, dan ga ik wel even doen. Ja, maar die was al gebroken, toch?
Yeah, no, you just talking in the background.
Oh, okay. All right.
Double touch.
Double touch.
Sorry, guys.
No problem. That is fine.
This
That
is what
fine.
happens when you interview the three blind guys, Aaron. You know,
Yeah,
It could go anyway.
this is the mayhem
I
ensues.
am no. I've been listening to you guys. This is what I appreciate. It's a very very upbeat conversation. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
What I'm sure.
We are all modest.
Sure. What I'm trying to get out of Aaron's opinion is to create an environment where blind people from all over the world can come and share their stories. And I think that's really important because there's a lot of blind people in my country, or really all over the world, that need strong podcasts like yours, or even like mine, to be able to come and share their opinions about what's going on. So it's just a hobby for me to be able to connect with the world and really help other blind people. Yeah, or anyone really. Mm-hmm. Does that answer your question, Stuart?
Absolutely, it's great. It sounds like it's a wonderful show, and you're to be commended for putting it together.
Thank you.
And how long have you been doing it, Aaron?
Well, first of all, a little bit more about my background. So I started off as a teacher online, and I've been teaching online for 6 years. So I've always been, public speaking.
What kind of topics?
I love public speaking, and
Really?
yes.
Wow.
That's one of my favorite.
What kind of topics? What kind of topics did you teach?
I teach English as a second language to students online. Yes.
Wow.
And yeah, that's always very interesting for me in my own life. But yeah, but I got into this about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't really remember, because again, I felt two things. I felt that there are not enough podcasts that do what we do, that do what you do, and do what I do now, where blind people can have a voice and have a place to come and have a place where there's going to be a lot of different episodes in a truly open and relaxed podcasting environment. And I think that's one thing that I noticed. So I just basically pushed record and, off to the races, and over time I've built up my interest, my interviews, the my WhatsApp group, the people I interview, the types of activities that I like to do on my show. So of course it's always a work in progress and always a work of art, as we go along. Sure. Okay. What about you, Jan, over there in the Netherlands? What question do you have for me?
Not really. I think you've answered. No, no, sorry, but no.
No
but
problem.
I think Stuart. Yeah, that's good. Stuart has done a really good job in being our spokesman in this way. So that's the part of when you're doing it with 3 people. Then, well, yeah. No, but it's good.
Good. So, a lot of podcasts are on radio stations. What have you guys done? Or I certainly hope that you're trying to get your podcast syndicated on a radio station. Have you guys given that some thought, by the way?
No, we haven't, to be honest.
Oh,
No.
well.
No.
If it's something that interests you, I can.
If you've any thoughts for us, I mean, please,
Yeah,
by all
please, yeah.
means, like send us an email at some point, or
Well,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I know several people. I know one.
The dogs are quite expensive, I must say, but yeah, we can do quite.
We can
some.
do a deal.
Yeah.
we
we
can do
can
something,
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because I think that once a podcast gets syndicated onto a station, I think you can expand your reach even further. So, yeah, we can definitely take a look at that. So, how many other Americans have you guys interviewed over your over all of your episodes?
At least 45. No, sorry. We've had
I think a couple, 5.
Yeah, one,
Yeah, about
4 or 5. Yeah,
4 or 5, I think.
4 or 5. Yeah.
We've interviewed people in Nigeria,
Nigeria, India,
Sweden.
India, Sweden. Yeah. I think where did we go to? No, I think
well,
that's
the
it.
UK, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. UK. Where is it? Yeah, that's true.
The UK.
And
It's right
Ireland.
beside us, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
It's
small
just-
country. Yeah. Besides.
Yeah, very small country, just next door.
Just a
to us.
small little place. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not that
small.
significant anymore since they left the euro.
Nah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. No, we had very nice interviews, I must say, from the UK recently.
Sure.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah, we had
Probab-
Glenn Gordon recently on our show from Freedom
Also, yeah,
Scientific and
Mr.
Eric
Glenn,
Damery.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that listening to the emails, that's the person who always calls themselves Blind Gordon or Blind Glenn, right? Or something like
No,
that.
that's Blind Gordon
No,
in
that-
Scotland.
No, that's
someone
another one.
different.
That's Blind Gordon in
I
He's
Scotland.
a he's
different
a he's a
Gordon.
guy who drinks whiskey all the time. He's a different
Yeah.
guy.
I see. All right.
Is that
all
not
right.
Derry? No, I thought that was Derry.
And probably when you were speaking to
You could
someone
be
from
right.
India, that probably was Pramit, right?
No, it was
No, we haven't spoken
Sabrina.
to him yet.
No, not yet. No,
We're
no,
due
the
to
blind.
we're due to speak to Pramit.
We must
Oh,
have a
you-
chat with Pramit.
you've
yeah.
never interviewed Pramit?
We're
Stuart
about
has
to.
on his other podcast.
I think,
well,
yeah,
speaking-
I have. I think there was an
Stuart,
action I
speaking-
took.
Well, speaking
Yeah.
of other, thanks for. Well, speaking of other podcasts, so Stuart, tell us about your other podcasts. I'd love to learn about that.
So it's a podcast for the company that it's called Sight and Sound Technology Podcast, where I work, and it's a technology focused podcast, and we talk about tech and we interview people about technology and have some demonstrations and tutorials. So you'll find it under Sight and Sound Technology Podcast.
Excellent,
Yep.
so good. Now, do you also run that podcast yourself? Are you in charge of that podcast, or is that someone
Yes.
else in your? Good.
No,
great.
I run this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's not so popular because Stuart runs it.
Thank you. You see, I love these guys.
but
really,
he's
you know?
trying.
Oh.
He's trying, guys.
I
He's
try,
trying.
but it's very
Yeah.
difficult.
No.
Very difficult.
And also, we use
Podcasting is hard, Stuart. You got to have tough skin. It is.
but I never get any help from these guys. You know.
Well,
Hey,
just Stuart.
But
Stuart. If you have complaints, you have my email. Just email me. Okay, I can.
Thanks,
field-
Aaron. You're
I
very
can-
good.
I can
Thank you,
field
sir.
any complaint in the world. I can field, especially complaints that I'm not able to solve. If I can't solve it, I'll just archive it and just go to the next complaint. But any complaints that you can come up with, them on my emails. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And we are also now sometimes on Clubhouse. That's also what we do.
We are, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm on Clubhouse. I sometimes listen to various people I follow. I don't say anything, but I'm on Clubhouse. It is. I think
Yep.
depending on if you're following the right kind of the right content at the right time. If you're listening to the right room at the right time, that you can get a lot out of that. There's a lot that can be done with it if it's used properly. If not, then it's there's just people talking. It's,
Hey guys, sorry, I have to leave now. Sorry, otherwise I will
worries.
get complaints here internally.
No
But,
worries, Jan. Pleasure. It was
many
a pleasure
thanks.
meeting you. It was a pleasure meeting you, Jan. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. You're always welcome here.
Thanks very much. And Stuart and Oren, I think
Yeah,
I will
great
see
to
you
see
also
you.
later.
I'll
so-
probably
yeah.
have to be on my way soon, but yeah, listen,
I
great to
think
see
so
you.
too, because
Look after yourself on the
it's
bike.
almost half an hour. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody has to
Okay.
edit this podcast that I've.
Oren
Yeah,
is
yeah.
slaving over
Yeah,
that.
that's true. So okay.
But listen, thanks for having us on the show, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for,
I've been tuning in every
welcome.
week since we heard about your show, and I really love it, and I think it's a great show, and I'm
I
going to be
really
telling everyone about it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank
Oren
you
is
so much.
tuning in as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tuning in as well. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we really like it. Well, congratulations on your podcast.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
it.
really
Thank
good.
you.
And
Thank you.
hopefully people will tune into Blind Guys Chat as often as they can.
Yeah, I really enjoy your the way that you guys do the chats. Very entertaining, very upbeat. I'm very, as you can tell, I'm very abrupt, I'm very serious, and I really like
No, I
a
wouldn't
podcast
say
that's
that.
very That's well, you're very kind. I really appreciate a podcast that's very cheerful, upbeat, like that. You guys have a great sense of energy, and I appreciate it. So we need Blind Guys Chat. We need you guys to keep producing great interviews, because it really is worth doing. So yeah.
Well, you send the
Listen,
money and we keep
I was
doing
going
it.
to say, as long as you keep paying, we'll be doing the interviews.
As
yeah?
long as I keep listening, you'll keep recording, right? I think
We
that's
will,
how
of
it
course.
works.
We will, of
You
course.
will, of course,
We will, of
yeah.
course. Yeah. All right,
Okay.
Aaron. Thanks a mil. Okay.
Thanks so much for joining me. Pleasure meeting you, Stuart.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Aaron. Thank you
pleasure
very
too.
much.
Thanks a
Okay.
million. Bye bye.
Take
Enjoy
care.
this. Thank you so much. Bye
All right,
bye.
you guys
Bye.
are always welcome here. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.